Good day, strategy gamers, and welcome back to episode 10 of our Let's Play series, 1941 Scenario as the Soviets. In this episode, we're going to be completing our turn 4. It's going to be a bit of a clerical and cleanup episode. We split turn 4 up into 3 episodes so as not to have 2 really long episodes where we're trying to cover everything in too short of time. So in this episode, it's probably not going to stretch to a full hour or anything like that, but we're just going to go through and make sure that as we end turn 4, organizationally, we have the right setup and we're good to go for future terms in terms of how are our fronts set up, how are our armies established, are there leaders that we need to look at replacing soon or even right away. Of course, we'll have a little bit of a limit in terms of our administrative points, and then we'll also look to see about reinforcements and that type of schedule and what we're going to do there. So we've got quite a bit to go over in this episode, but it's not going to necessarily be combat focused or trying to set up the front lines as we did that in the previous 2 episodes. And my kind of approach here is I want to walk you through the commander's report on a specific area to kind of show you why we need to take a look at this. So let's open that up. And we see here that when we're filtered to map and to front, when we're looking at the HQ tab, here we see all of our HQs that are classified as fronts. Now there's a number of districts in here that we're going to be kind of skipping past, but you'll see that we have over here the number of command points left. So a negative value represents that this front is over its command point capacity. A positive value means it has that much room left. And this kind of highlights some of the work that we need to do, because we see that things like Northwestern and Southwestern Front, they are over their command capacity. I mean, Southwestern Front is over its command capacity by 43. It is staggeringly high, right? Whereas the Leningrad Front has a capacity of 52 still remaining. So what we're going to do is go through and make sure that all of our armies have the appropriate rifle corps or other elements attached to them. And then we will assign those armies to the appropriate fronts to make sure that we do indeed have the right split of our fronts. That way we're not having any negative impacts from our leadership roles and such because we're over command capacity. Now when we look at armies, we see we're actually sitting pretty good. We only have 2 that are over their capacity, so we can take a look at those specifically. And when we look at corps, we really only have the 1, and that's the 9th Rifle Corps. So let's start with them. So we're going to hop down here to the 9th Rifle Corps and see what they have going on. And you see here we've got quite a few attached to this HQ. So that's the 9th Rifle Corps. Over here we have the 35th Rifle Corps. So what I'm going to do is, I think we'll take this Mountain Division. Oh, sorry. Take that Mountain Division, and we're going to attach these guys to the 35th Rifle Corps. And now when we look at the 9th Rifle Corps, we are still 1 over. So let's take this unit here, this Cavalry Division, and let's attach them to the 2nd Cavalry Corps. I think that probably makes sense. So now the 9th Rifle Corps is just fine. 8 out of 9. Go back to the commander's report, and we see that we now have all of our corps, rifle corps and cavalry corps, within their command capacity. Right? So just very high level, quick thing we can do. Now we're going to jump over to armies, and we see that we have 2 that are over capacity. So let's first try to fix the 6th Army, which is over here. And we have 24 out of 21 in the 6th Army. So right off the bat, I think what I'm going to do is take, for example, this mechanized unit, the 81st Mechanized, And we're going to attach them to probably that 35th Rifle Corps, I think. So we'll attach them there. Okay. Now we go back to the commander's report, 6th Army. We still have one more over capacity. I do wonder. So we've got quite a few up here, right, that are just way off. So we're going to take this unit here and assign them to a more appropriate army. The 10th Army looks like it'd be a great choice. So we're going to attach them to the 10th Army. That leaves just then the 9th Army that is currently over capacity. So let's go work through the 9th Army. Here they're 35 out of 21, which is pretty significant. And I think a large part of that is we've got up here some units that are really separated, right, from the main forces. It's like these security units here. I think we're probably just going to attach them, oh, excuse me, to something a little less impactful. Actually, we can't because they're isolated. I think that's why. Yeah, because they're isolated. So let's instead take a look at the 48th Rifle Corps. And, you know, it really seems like you would probably be better off somewhere other than the 9th Army. So the 6th Army is pretty close to capacity, but the 12th Army is nearby and has capacity. So we're going to put you there. Now we are at 31 out of 21. And we see up here, no, that's the southern front that they're attached to. I wonder if all of it is actually coming from Odessa, now that I think about it. Because let's take a look at you. What is assigned to you? Yeah. So I think all of these guys are in the city fort of Odessa. And that's why we don't see them here on the map. So it's going to be a little hard then to correct this. We have the 35th Rifle Corps and the 2nd Cavalry Corps. So I guess we can take each of those and assign them elsewhere. So there is the Kharkov Military District, but I don't know that that makes a whole lot of sense. There's the Coastal Army. And then there is just the Western Front that they could be attached to. Maybe Kharkov is way up here, isn't it? It is. It seems like quite a ways away. Let's attach them to the Coastal Army. Okay. So that's the 35th Rifle Corps. Now we're at 25 out of 21. We can take a look at the 2nd Cavalry Corps. Let's also attach them to the Coastal Army. So then the 9th Army now is 19 out of 21. Which means that all of our armies are within capacity. Right? So now we can get to fronts. And here's where we have this dramatic shift of some that are way underutilized and many that are overutilized. So the approach I'm going to take here, because we can't, it's not quite as simple to just go around and hotkey to each army and fix it, is I'm going to just go through the map kind of from top to bottom, starting in Leningrad. And I'm just going to assign relevant armies near Leningrad, probably north of Lake Ilmen, right? And keep assigning them to the Leningrad front until it gets at or very close to capacity. And I know that that is then going to help the Northwestern Front, because just geographically, those are the forces we have near Leningrad. So as we take things from the Northwestern Front, it will occupy the current remaining capacity, and it will bring the Northwestern Front more into alignment. And What I want to end up having is Northwestern Front having a surplus. So that way, when I get to the other fronts that are south of the Northwestern Front, I can then start assigning units to the Northwestern Front. And we'll have this domino effect until we have worked our way down to the Southwestern Front where we have the most opportunity. Now, if you do the math of these 4 fronts and the Leningrad Front, we do actually have enough capacity for everything to be assigned to a front and not go over. I think it was something like we have +7 or something like that. So it can be done, and I think we can get very close, if not actually achieve it. The thing that's going to really throw us off, though, is actually the Stavka unit. So I skipped a little step here in my process. Before we can do the front alignment, we need to get these units that are assigned to Stavka assigned to appropriate armies. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take all of these units that are currently reporting to Stavka and transfer them over to, say, armies and rifle corps, etc., in the Leningrad front. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So your HHQ is currently Stavka. We're going to assign you to... Where is the Neva operational group army? Let me just find some of these. Okay, here they are. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah. And how is that leader? Wow, that is awful. So he will be one of the leaders we will be looking to change out. The Lupa operational group, Luga, excuse me. A little better, but not by much. There are so many leaders that need to be replaced as the Soviets in the early game. It's really not funny. So let's start assigning these here to those 2 armies. And this is just going to take a little bit to go through, but it will be worth it. If for no other reason than if you have OCD of the color scheme of the units on the map, you will no longer sit here going, this looks like crap. So, see, you got to look on the bright side of these things. From a visual aesthetics perspective, this will be much better. Obviously, it doesn't bother my OCD at all. We'll go here to the Neva group, and then I think we'll start doing Luga ones here, now that we've gone through a few. There we go. Got a few more around Leningrad to do. Oh, missed it. There we go. We'll just start doing every other now to keep it a little, some semblance of balance. Now if I can remember how I did the every other. I'll just try to keep it balanced. Okay. Got a few over here still. And the Neva operational group. Alright, so all around Leningrad, we are now sitting good. Perfect. Okay. And then we have some here, right, that we need to start assigning. They're actually assigned to that military district, right? Because they were up north, that little surprise we found. I'm going to put you in the 24th Rifle Corps. I'll also do the 24th Rifle Corps. Here we have the 22nd Rifle Corps, I think. Got some more down here. We can put you in the 61st Rifle Corps, I think. There we go. Did I just go over on the 61st Rifle Corps? I may have. Did. Shoot. Okay, so let's take you, 144th. We'll assign you elsewhere. Let's put you in the 22nd Rifle Corps. How about that? That sounds lovely. And 61st is at capacity, pretty much 24th Rifle Corps. Go there. We might need to do some optimization here because we're getting a little far. We're going to have to start putting some of these in like the 5th Airborne, or we'll just have them go directly to the 20th Army, I think. That makes more sense. 20th Army. And then this guy's going to need a different home because 20th Army's at cap pretty much now. So let's put him in. We'll just do the 5th Airborne Corps. I actually don't know if maybe there's a negative to having a rifle division in an airborne corps. I haven't looked that up. I'd be curious if anyone watching knows. 5th Airborne Corps, we'll just toss you there too. We're not going to, as much time as we are dedicating to this with a full episode, we are not going to solve these problems of the organizational structure of the army in one turn. That's just not going to happen. It'd be nice, but it won't happen. So now what we need to do is take a look at like the 20th Army here. Say, okay, 20th Army. You're part of the Northwestern Front there. The 5th Airborne Corps. Yeah, 20th Army. Let's take you, and you have command points of 20. And if we put you to Leningrad right now, we're going to be over capacity. And I think that's because we attached all those units to Stavka, which then threw off my math a little. Yeah, it did. So now, really, we have these districts down here, but everything Western Front and above, the math doesn't work out anymore, right? We're going to come up a little short. So, some of these units are attached directly to the Northwestern Front. I think the 20th Army we will attach, though, to Leningrad. Okay, so they're attached there. We have all of these nice units attached there. We have a bit of a gap with these guys that are attached currently to the Northwestern Front directly. So let's maybe see if we can't get them to like Rifle Corps or anything that's in the area. Yeah, so like the 10th Rifle Corps here is empty. So let's just get these guys attached to the 10th Rifle Corps. I think that makes sense. Or there's other options too here. So the 10th Rifle Corps will keep working. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll keep doing the 10th. Okay, if for no other reason than the color scheme, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? And if we go to map info here and we look at the command efficiency and command quality, right? We have orange, which is not ideal, but it's not red. Well, for some of them it's red, I suppose. So these that are attached directly to the Leningrad front are the opportunities. My goodness, maybe even one episode wasn't enough to do all this. So let's get these guys attached to something other than the Leningrad front. We'll put you in the 8th Army. You can go to the 8th Army. We're getting there. We're getting there. 8th Army. It's tank division. Or we put you in the 8th Army. Border Guard attachment can go to the 10th Rifle Corps. This machine gun unit can go to the 10th Rifle Corps. I think this one's a range issue because of how far they are. Okay. Over here, again, these are going to be range issues. Some of them are. This Leningrad front we can actually assign to let's do the 5th Airborne. Yeah, we've got, it's getting messy. That's what it is. It's getting messy. Okay. So now when we look at the Northwestern front, we see that we're 78 out of 72, which is much better. Not great, but better. And the Northwestern front seems to stretch down to Smolensk, which is going to be a little problematic because we have more units that came in as reinforcements here that are currently assigned to Stavka that we need to assign to frontline units here. Now, a quick note, a normal way that you can kind of overcome these command capacities is you can set in a front to be an assault HQ, and that's with this button right here. And the Soviets at this point in the game, they can have 2, I believe it is, and that goes up to 3 in 1943. And that assault HQ is going to increase our command capacity. However, it limits the fortification level of your units to 1. So it has some benefits in command capacity as well as it has some benefits to I think it's the combat preparation rate. By the way, just noticed that I have this guy sitting out here, so we're going to move him. I had forgotten about you, sir. My apologies. Anyways, we're getting a little off topic. Let's go back to these Stavka units, and we're going to attach them to relevant armies here. It's like we see the 16th Rifle Corps is very nearby. It's completely empty. That seems like a great choice. So let's do that. 105th Tank Division can also go there. Let's do the 51st Rifle Corps. Here we have 2 rifle divisions that are attached to Stavka. And we will put you in the 16th Rifle Corps. You can join the 62nd Rifle Corps. There we go. Need to get you sorted to... I'm starting to run out a little bit of the Rifle Corps, so we're going to have to put you in the 27th Army. It's probably going to be the same for you guys too. Yep. Well, no, you can go to the 41st Rifle Corps. Same with you, 41st. This guy will have to go to the army. So we're going to put him in the 27th Army. Down here. Let's toss you to the 34th Rifle Corps. There we go. Number of tank divisions sitting in the back here. I'm probably going to put these to an army like the 28th Army. I think that makes sense. Here we have another tank division, so we'll do the same. The 28th Army, I think, is which one it was. And then we have 2 rifle divisions. You guys can join the 25th Rifle Corps. And you can join the 53rd Rifle Corps. Progress continues, guys. Over here, the rifle cores are starting to fill up, but we still have the 29th available. 29th. Go. You guys can go to the 29th. We will have you go to the 32nd Rifle Corps. Do I have any more remaining? Yep, right here. Probably going to toss you. I guess you're within range. We can have you go to the 32nd Rifle Corps. All right. There. Put you to the 2nd Rifle Corps. You're good. You are not. It's a little tedious, but the good news is this isn't something you need to do every turn, and it really is something done best in stages. I mean, I've seen some folks play and they bake these steps into kind of their turn by turn where they do a little bit each turn, whereas I found myself so overwhelmed in the first episodes that we ended up just kind of saying, run to the hills, we'll touch this stuff later. Right, was kind of the approach we ended up taking, which is not the most efficient, and we now find ourselves having to do this. So there's your lesson for you, right? It's a ways away, but we'll have you go there. We're gonna have to start putting you guys to the armies. So we have you to the 29th Army. This tank division can go to one of those armies. The 29th seems to work just fine. Same with this tank division. The other really interesting thing is going to be at the end of this episode as we go through and do the end of turn simulation of the German turn to see exactly what happens there. Because as I'm reviewing the front lines, I'm getting nervous again about their potential opportunities to break through. Have you go to the 29th Army. Same thing here. 29th Army works. So this is all a hodgepodge of Northwestern Front, Western Front, and Southwestern Front here. So it is all over the place. Or Southern Front, I don't think it's Southwestern Front, but anyways. You are all good. Down here, you see all this red because the Southwestern Front is so over capacity. I don't think I have a lot of Stavka units here because if you remember, most of the Stavka units came from our reserve pool that was deployed towards Rzhev. So we haven't really had many reserve units come down here. So these are all looking okay, although these guys we're going to toss to Coastal Army. Makes sense since they're coastal defenses too. Seems pretty logical. Yeah, all good there. Over here, this tank division can go to the... Well, let's have it go to the 7th Rifle Corps, I guess. All right. So there is all of that. And I'm going to take this highlight off again. Let's look at Commander's Report. And we see that what we ended up with after we attached all the Stavka units is we are just way over capacity on each of these fronts. And then with armies, we have 2 that are now over. It's only by 1. I think I'm just going to leave that. And then corps are all okay. So that does that. Let's now take a look at... I think I want to take a look at leaders. So we're going to go back to the commander's report. We're going to go to leader. Let's filter this down a little. So let's look just at armies. And we're only going to look at... Sorry, I can actually leave that. Gonna uncheck air, uncheck none. So we're just looking at ground. And those who have watched my Stalingrad to Berlin campaign, what I like to do is I like to sort by usually initiative, sometimes some other things. And I want to see which units have the worst initiative and then kind of look for opportunities and their other stats too. So like right here, this sticks out like a sore thumb. Vasily, can't quite read that. Konkoy. He is a 3 initiative, a 1 mechanized, a 3 infantry. Now we don't have any armor up there, so that might actually be not as bad as I originally thought. And he does have 6 political. Morale is at 4, initiative at 3. The coastal army is down there by Odessa. I think I'm just going to leave that. Looking for other ones. Let's actually sort by infantry, smallest, largest. So we have 3 that are at 3. 1 is the 34th Army here. And they also have 3 for initiative, 4 for morale. I think I might look at this guy. Oh, and you're up by Moscow? Yeah, the 34th Army is up here by Moscow, attached to Stavka. So a separate thing is let's all of these militias, let's attach the where was it? I've lost it now. Gosh darn it. Where was that 35th Army? Is it down here? 32nd and 33rd. Here we go, 34th Army. Well, so that way I don't have to change out this leader. Let's just leave you there. And then let's take this 33rd Army back up here. And the 33rd Army, we're going to say you report to the Moscow military district. And then I'm just going to have all of these guys report to... Which one was it? The 33rd Army. Let's do that. 33rd. This one was a little bit less of an urgency because it's all the way back at Moscow, but then at the very least we can just kind of have it, to a sense, done. Third. Go. I think we might have just enough to be under capacity when we're all said and done. It's going to be really close, actually. Really close. I think we're going to be 1 over, maybe 2 over. Yeah, we're going to be 1 over here. So we're going to do the 31st Army as well. That'll be the other one we'll do. It's the 31st Army. And 31st Army's here, and we'll have you go to the Moscow military district. Perfect. I moved the wrong unit. That is... I've done that so many times in recent episodes. There we go. Moscow's done now. Got distracted. The other one though is this Vasily Konkov. And I think I'm going to replace him because he's going to be critical to the defense of Leningrad here. So let's dismiss him and find a replacement. We have some really, really good options here. Yeah. I don't know that I want the guy that's just going to be defending this fortress of a city to be that good, right? So I think I might pick kind of a middle of the road guy. And let's go with Readermax. There we go. So we've changed him out. Go back to the commander's report. This coastal army, I guess we can take a look at the coastal army because it does include Odessa and other units down here. Let's go ahead and dismiss you. And let's put in your place. Let's do this Mikhail Kozin because the mechanized rating's a little lower. There's not really any mechanized down here. So that's used you up. We'll go back to the commander's report. And let's then see here. So we've got this bulk of 4s. And we'll pick on some where the initiative is 3. So actually what we can do is we can do some filtering here. So where initiative is 3 to 3. So it just gets us the 3s. And where infantry is 3, it's just this first one. Which is Nikolai Pronin. Oh, we've already looked at him. So it's just going to be these that are 4 then. And let's sort this further by the morale rating, I think. We'll do that. And here I think we have a good opportunity. Which is this Ivan Silinov. Okay, and he's right in the thick of it here, right around Aryol. And he does not have that great of stats. Infantry is 4, but other than that, 3 initiative, 3 morale. So let's get rid of this guy. And here we can put in one of our stronger generals to get him out into the field. And there is armor and mechanized in this group. So I think I'm going to choose Fyodor Tobulkin. There we go. And then let's see here. For Stavka, we have Zhukov, so we're good there. Let's take a look at who we have in charge of our fronts. I'm going to clear my filter. Down here, I do that, clear all filters. We're just going to look at front. Let's see what we got. So, like, let's look at administrative. Oh, this is the Kharkov military district, so I probably don't care too much. Initiative 4-3. Again, this is a district. The reserve front I care a lot less about. Southern front, initiative 3, administrative 6. Morale 4. Morale 4 seems really bad. So let's replace this guy. And who can we replace him with? There are not that many options, are there? We see already morale 7 versus a 4, a 5 initiative versus a 3, 6 administrative to 6, mechanized 4 to 3, infantry 5 to 5. Let's replace him here with Semyon Timoshenko. And then that, I think, is going to wrap up our leader changes that we have for the turn. Let's see if there's anything we need to do in terms of our reserve units. And we have quite a few here that we can bring in. So actually, before we actually bring them in, let's consider this for a moment, right? So let's do a bit of a review of the front. Where do we want our reserves coming in, right? Where are we most in danger? Now, I have been a little bit worried about their breakthrough here, but I have kind of reassured myself after we got some units there to try to slow them down. And I do feel like in another turn we can have a pretty moderate to successful line here along the Dnieper and the swamps that are occupying it. So I feel okay about that. The trouble's going to be getting these units to retreat fast enough, right, to then get back here to this line without just giving up this territory too easily. Because what they will try to do is they will try to encircle us probably. Kind of like how they did right here. Kiev, I actually think we're certainly doing fine on because it doesn't seem to be a focus for them right now. Aryol scares the crap out of me, and I talked about this an episode or two ago, because once they make it past this one patch of forest, it is clear terrain all the way towards Voronezh. Like, it's just open terrain, right? And I'd have a very difficult time stopping them from coming from the north down to Stalingrad, north of Stalingrad. When we look at Smolensk, obviously a little worried by the fact that it is the fastest approach to Moscow, and they are only 3 hexes from Smolensk proper as we speak. And also have concerns about how quickly they've moved north of Peskov, right, where they've just really broken out there. And we're starting to get in some defensive units to try to slow them down, but we're not quite there yet. And the difficult part of what we have to do is we have to morph this somehow into a defensive line that stretches from Lake Ilmen to Leningrad, right? We need to find a way to pivot ourselves, like how a door opens on a hinge, to where north to south we've created this line using geography as our pivot point. South of Lake Ilmen I'm not too worried about because they don't again seem to be too interested, and we have some really good terrain to slow them down as they advance there. So what I'm left with after all of those considerations is that perhaps the best place to send reinforcements right now is Aryol. Because then they can have immediate impact here to stem this tide. And then I can also, with relative ease, move them north towards Smolensk. And if they do break out here in the next couple turns, it's close enough too that they can help out. I think Aryol might be what I go with. So let's right click Aryol and set reserve theater box arrival hex. And then let's go and bring in the reinforcements, right? That's the next step. So in terms of armor, we have tank division that's not quite ready, and then we have some tank regiments and battalions that are low TOE, so we'll leave them be. This mechanized division isn't there yet, but we have some rifle divisions that look like they're pretty close. And a 90% rifle division at this point in the game, you are going to get deployed. My goodness, you are going to get deployed. So we're going to send all these guys to the map here. Yep, to the map. I think the next turn I might have to look at sending some to the Northern Theater. Maybe I'll even do a couple this turn. I don't know. It's a tough call. It isn't going to take too many to at least get it in a semi-stable state. But I really don't want early on them advancing the campaign events too quickly. But for now, the focus is it doesn't matter what happens in the Northern Theater box if they get to Moscow. Right? All of that's irrelevant if they make it easily enough to Moscow. So for now, we're going to do everything we can here to stop them at Aryol and Smolensk. And that's what all of these guys are meant for. I just hope I don't regret not sending these to Rzhev or somewhere more north that can help out with Leningrad. We had a lot of units to bring in this turn. So what I'm going to do too is some of those HQs we had up by Moscow, I'm just going to preemptively move them down to our Yol. So even though the front will be a little overloaded, at the very least I can have armies down there waiting for these guys. Almost got all of these. Okay, and you know what? Actually, let's look at this. So we're at 84%. And that's with 75 units in total. Okay, we're going to send 3 rifle divisions to the northern front. Is what we're going to do. I hope that at least gets them to kind of that yellow color coding. Okay. So we've done all of that. We have a rifle brigade here. We're going to leave them out for now. Cavalry divisions. You guys are all at 70. It looks like I'm going to wait another turn to see how that goes. Anti-tank units. You are all working up your TOE. I would love to have you right now, but you're working up your TOE. And mountain infantry division will send you to the map too. Okay. And construction units we will leave. Alright. AI is working on air. It's a lot. It is a lot going on. But I really hope that those reinforcements I'm bringing into our Yol, pretty much from where we're at with Kursk here, want to create kind of this inverted C shape all along this forest area here. And then I'm hoping that then strengthens the southeastern front of Smolensk as well when I bring these guys in from our Yol. It'll take them probably a turn or two to get there, but I might have that long. We will see. Really need to do the AI depot management before I forget. Okay. I'm gonna ask all of you right now to cross your fingers to see how this turn goes and how far the Germans advance. This is gonna be tense, guys. I am metaphorically holding my breath as I speak to you. Going through their logistics phase. I just dread we're gonna end this turn and like they've gone all the way up to north of Leningrad and cut off the city or something horrible like that, but I don't think they'll be able to. I also didn't think they'd make it past Peskov that quickly, but they did. And I really do hope we manage to keep Novgorod. And I did forget to move down those army HQ units from Moscow that weren't assigned anywhere. Well, I can get them next turn easily enough. We can move them down there pretty quickly, so not too much to worry about. Almost done with their logistics, and then we get into the combat side of things. The only combat that you've seen in this series so far have been the Germans beating the crap out of me because of the scenario conditions at the beginning here. But one day, if we manage to halt the Germans' advance, maybe then we will finally be able to counterattack. And you know, I was thinking about this too. That is going to feel so much more satisfying in a sense, as opposed to, say, my Stalingrad to Berlin campaign, because it would have been something then that we earned, right? This earning kind of the, or holding our ground long enough to be able to say, Yep, now it's our turn to beat you up a little. And that will come in in 1942. The Germans will then counterattack again in the summer of 1942. So we need to defend again. And then in 1943 we go, all right, let's start the march to Berlin, boys. Okay. Doing a quick save here. Their air phase should go pretty quickly because most of their air army should still be behind the lines quite a bit. Yeah, you see, look how far they moved up here just this turn. They were all the way back here. Now they're pretty close to Kiev. And you see they're running some recon, it sounds like. I'm really hoping that my interdiction efforts helped up near Peskov. And that was another reason, I didn't say it, but another reason why I chose to send the reservists to Aryol is that I'm optimistic the air contributions of air interdiction north near Leningrad managed to slow down their supplies and their advance, as well as with the terrain. We'll see if that comes to be true. Here it is. Alright, they're doing cleanup efforts behind the lines. That makes sense. And at this point, right, these guys have been going a month without any food or supplies. It makes sense that they would just surrender. I can't blame them in any way, and over here they're attacking. We managed to hold again. Good job. That time we retreated and surrendered, though. Here, we're up here in these hills, so I'm optimistic these guys might hold out for a turn or two like we just held out there. We hold again. We did. They didn't take any losses, though, but we held. They attacked again, and we held. Keep holding them, guys. Keep holding them. It is killing their combat preparation every time we hold them. Well, every time they attack, it's killing their combat preparation, to be more specific. Whoa, they attacked with a lot there, and we unfortunately did surrender. That was quite a bit. They surrendered as well. This infantry division was kind of the last down there. They have to clean up. Managed to hold the first attack. That's good. Second attack we held. Third attack we retreated. Live to fight another day still. These guys retreated, and that time we had to surrender. Okay, and here they're actually looking to advance now. This is just north of Kiev. The airborne brigade routed, which was kind of expected. It's just an airborne brigade. Machine gun emplacements there surrendered. This is west of Aryol, and another airborne brigade routed. This is near Odessa. They're again doing cleanup with some of those units. Okay, it looks like they're trying to cross the river here. This is north of Odessa. This is near Smolensk. We had a retreat, unfortunately. And we had a rout there. So they're pushing south of Smolensk here. They scouted us here. We held them a second time. Oh, we need to hold this hex, guys. Come on. Pull through. Pull through. Yes. Took out 40 of their armor and we held. Yes. Yes. Oh boy. Okay. That time they brought the pain. We lost 200 armor. They lost 63. Wow. Wow. Rifle division routed. There weren't any surrenders there, though. There weren't any encirclements. Retreats and routes aren't really the worst thing. I mean, I'm not trying to say or spin it as a win, but it's not the worst thing that can happen to the Soviets at this point in time, right? Is us not getting encircled and surrendering is one of the goals. Managed to hold up here south of Lake Gilman. The second attack, they broke through. This is west of Lake Gilman. They were scouted. Follow-up attack we held, it looks like. They scouted us near Lake Ilmen again. So it looks like we have enough to hold this maybe for now. We're not nearly done with the simulation of the turn, though. That tank division routed the one we weren't able to retreat fast enough, which makes sense. Up here, we have moderate defensive values. By Smolensk, they pushed us back in this hex. And another rifle division routed, so they've broken through here now. They've got a bit of a spearhead going on. They're trying to make their way to Veliki Luki, which is dangerous for us, right? We need to try to hold that for a little bit. I worry there. And again, this is all part of their plan, right? They're probably trying to get around Smolensk. Which I would actually argue, out of all of the towns, to have a frontal assault on Smolensk has got to be one of the easier ones because of the terrain that is west of it. Yes, they're still pushing up here by Veliki Luki. It can really wear on you just seeing so many defeats, guys, but it's I'm not seeing any huge pushes yet. I really want to knock on wood. I say these things and awful stuff happens after I say them, but I'm not seeing anything that's really scaring me. I'm gonna shut up now before something happens. Okay, second attack, we held them again. This third one's gonna break them, though. I just know it. It did. So we had 2 retreats there. We lost 136 armor, they lost 34. Those seem like really awful numbers and ratios, but it's actually not that bad. Considering the situation, it's not that bad. They are now within 2 hexes of Smolensk. This is getting a little dangerous. So in another turn, they will probably be at the doorstep of Smolensk, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to fortify and hold these hexes here that are just clear terrain. I'm probably just going to admit that I need to draw back and try to hold the city urban hex itself and let them just throw a ton of stuff at that hex. Maybe city fort? I don't know. I'll need to think about that. Be a tough call. I am so glad we split this turn up into 3 episodes, because we are at an hour at this point. Okay, so here they're pushing. Yeah, so this is pushing east towards Kursk. We know we are pretty open here, which is why we had some layers. So we kind of knew that going into the turn. They're still only on priority attacks 1. There could be so many more still coming. I can't imagine they have that much more armor by Smolensk, though. Let's see. What's going to come next? I have this feeling in my gut that just says maybe they're done. Maybe that was it. Maybe they just wanted to have a vacation week in the south of the front. Could be. Hitler was deranged. Alright, here we retreated. This is up north near Aryol. Oh boy, they're breaking through there. That's not good. That is not good. That is very defensible terrain that we lost here. So it looks like they were moving stuff around Kiev. I didn't see any attacks, so I just saw them moving. This is kind of south of Kiev. It's a little off screen there. We managed to hold the first attack. Yeah, and this is south of Kiev that they're attacking. Rifle division routed here. So right here we kind of have this layered perimeter where we're trying to slow their advance to the east. Ooh, so armor versus armor here. Oh boy, The 16th Panzer Division and the Wiking SS Panzer Grenadier Division are both there, and they're going to be attacking our 3 tank divisions. The third attack we managed to hold off again. How much longer can we keep doing that? Okay, we routed and retreated, but we took out 25 of their armor. We lost half of ours, but we took out 25 of their armor. That is a really good thing, guys. Again, we have the numbers to do that. If every turn, every Panzer Division loses 25 armor, they won't make it to Moscow. The difficulty is doing it to every Panzer Division, of course. I'm kind of oversimplifying the problem when I say it like that. Okay, I'm actually really glad they did that, because it got our rifle division to break through and kind of survive behind the lines here. Otherwise, we weren't going to be able to escape at all. I'm actually a little thankful that happened. And then we see how long it takes them to blockade and surround Odessa until they finally break through. They'll, at the very least, occupy a lot of their forces and kind of slow them down from being able to advance fully on the Crimea as of yet. Alright, their turn's just about done here. So I think that was it. I think it could have been a lot worse. Overall, I would kind of rate what I saw there as average. In terms of it wasn't worse than what I thought it'd be, but it wasn't better than what I was expecting either. And at this point in the series, I think I'll take that. Just kind of meeting of expectations, because so far you guys have witnessed me in the first 4 turns going, what the heck's gonna happen next turn? So I'm kind of okay with it being similar to what I'd expect. What I wasn't... Okay, so here's one thing I wasn't expecting. They broke through here, and look how they just expanded out and took all of this empty territory that we didn't have anything in to slow them down in. So now we really, really have to hold them here, because they are at the gates, as it is, towards Crimea. Interesting. Okay, so we lost 180,000 men, which really, I don't think it's that bad. Just for some perspective on that number, right? So as the Soviets in 1943 in my Stalingrad to Berlin campaign, we're averaging right now about 80 to 90,000 losses. This is 1 month into Operation Barbarossa, and our losses are only double that? That's not bad. 3,000 guns lost. The 1,300 armor is kind of a high number. But again, if we were trading that at 2-to-1 ratios or even 3-to-1 ratios to the German panzers, okay, I love that, because that means they lost then 500 panzers. That seems great to me. Lost 600 airframes, order of battle positive 300,000 men. So look at how much we're filling the map with men. We are adding 300,000 men to the front line this turn. They added 4,000. That is how we can slow their advance. 2,000 guns to their 400. We lost 1,200 armor. They lost 220. Is a net change, right, to the order of battle. Airframes negative 240 for us, and 22 positive for the Germans. We have 150 units in low supply, 43 under strength, 75 unready, 19 isolated, and 10 depleted. We look at new events. Yeah, okay, so the Germans captured Salmi. So the Finnish forces reached the north shore of Lake Ladoga and capture Salmi. Yeah, so it looks like this is just a campaign event that speeds up the northern front a little. And then here's a flavor text of Churchill, probably celebrating the fact that the Germans decided to attack Soviet Union, which then made it a 2-front war. Oh, good news, guys. Look at that. They didn't really make any material advances past Peskov. So I think we made the right call by not sending our reinforcements to Rzhev. They got closer to Smolensk, but we were expecting that. That's not something that's a surprise. And over here you see, look how valuable these rifle divisions are going to be as they start to break through here. and just how much we need these units right here, right now. And then in the south, really kind of things as they stood previously, they again broke out here, and it looks like this is the beginning of their encirclement of Kiev. So we may start to look to pull some units back. Um, yeah, I think I might really consider that in the next turn here, of maybe just slowly each turn taking a unit or two out of the Kiev defense. Um, and then here, this was a little surprising of how they made this pocket and they just pushed through, right? It's not like there were one or two panzer units that pushed through. Look at all these mountain divisions that they had push. So now the focus for us is going to be, we need to finish this defensive line north-south on the Dnieper and start pulling these units back to help with the defense of these two cities. So we've got a lot to go over in turn 5. Can't wait to do it with you guys. As always, thank you so much for watching the video in this series. I really do appreciate your support throughout all of these videos. If you got any questions, comments, or feedback, please just toss them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As a reminder, I record out in advance, so if there's a delay in my comment, it's just because I'm not looking at the channel every day or even every couple of days. Sometimes I might have a week off from even looking at it, so it's not that I'm ignoring you. I will get back to you. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. And we'll end it as we always do. Strategy Gamers, hoping you have yourselves an excellent day. Bye now.